Hi, I'm Angus King, and we're delighted you're going to join us today to talk about digital education. And what we want to talk about is the most powerful instrument ever invented for education: the teacher. Not the computer, not the blackboard, not the book, but the teacher. What we're going to be talking about today with some educators is how to do it, what to do. The basic question is, 10 things I wish somebody had told me when a couple of thousand laptops arrived in my district. And that's what we're going to be talking about with Lisa Hogan, who is the tech integrator at SAD 75, but also a classroom teacher for many years, not in the Grostown School in Brunswick, maybe, but for a while. And Sarah Sutter, who is currently a classroom teacher, also a tech integrator, also a virtual educator. So we got all kinds of pieces. Persuade me, I'm a 20-year teacher, I'm experienced, I do well, you know, everybody likes me, my students like me, I get good evaluations. Why do I have to bother changing the way I teach?
Gee, I felt that way.
You were that person?
I was. And for me, what happened was I did become a very responsible, maybe responsible isn't the word, but I became that self-learner because I realized there was so much information out there through Edutopia and other sites that I didn't even know existed really until I was given a laptop and I could play around. And what happened was I saw my class transforming in front of me, and it became a different place. It became more student-centered, it became more engaging for kids, and I thought I had an engaging class. I mean, I think things were going well, but my classroom really took a turn and became a different kind of learning environment, and that was very exciting for me and refreshing after having been in the classroom for over 20 years. So I think it's a great way to recharge what you're doing, how you're doing it, and to make it even better.
That's fantastic. My friend Seymour Papert, I think, said a very profound thing about education. He said the role of education now is to teach kids to learn. Not to teach kids, but learning how to learn. Because the jobs we're preparing these kids for, we have no idea what they're going to be. So how do you prepare for them? You teach them how to learn. And that's what this thing is all about. What about the policies, the practical, the rules about, you know, no YouTube or all of that kind of stuff, no R-rated movies? How do you deal with the whole policy question and the rules surrounding this?
Well, I think that the expectations for appropriate behavior for students hold in the classroom and they hold in the digital world as well. Do you want to address
Do you really need a whole new set of policies?
No, I don't believe you do. I think that, as Sarah said, what we do in the physical world in terms of respecting others and respecting property holds for the digital world. And I think that teachers need to remind kids and have clear expectations that we have a code of conduct. And yes, it extends into this virtual world that we walk into. And so sending an email that is derogatory about someone else is not respecting someone. And you've broken the rule. What's the consequence for that in the physical world is the consequence for it in the virtual world. And reminding kids that the virtual world can actually be tracked down.
Right.
That what you put out there is not invisible. There's a record.
What I love is when you tell a kid that every search you've ever made on Google, they have a record of in their faces, all the blood drains out of their faces.
Right.
And part of this, we talked about digital literacy. There's also digital citizenship, which I think is very important, both in terms of how kids treat each other, but also how stupid they are about what they put online.
Well, and part of it is they are unaware of the consequences. This is going to be the first generation from cradle to grave raised in a digital environment. And frankly, I don't know that we know all the consequences of that. But I do know.
But one of them is that employers Google people.
Right.
Absolutely.
And so if you've ever listened to John Palfrey, who co-authored Born Digital, he'll say he thinks there are going to be quite a few teenagers that grow up with some digital tattoos that they wish they could get rid of.
That's a great way to put it.
You know, and maybe they learn over time, and maybe as generations are raised through this digital medium, that they will learn, well, actually, maybe I shouldn't have posted that picture. But a lot of it isn't even what I do, it's what you do. If you take pictures and post them of me, I have very little control over
Right.
that. So it's all of us together working on those issues of privacy and identity and safety, from the parent through schools, through communities.
My rule that I share with my students is very simple. Don't put anything in writing on the internet that you don't want to see on the front page of the newspaper.
Right.
And they usually, they say, oh, okay, I get that.
Exactly.
I think it makes us much more responsible for our actions, both our actions regarding ourselves and our actions regarding others. And I think in the long run, it can do some really wonderful things for our communities.
Well, I want to thank you for taking the time to join us, and thank Sarah and Lisa for what I hope is a stimulating and thought-provoking conversation. As I mentioned, there are lots of other resources we're going to be making available to make this huge transition. You should know, by the way, that you're sitting, you in Maine who are watching this, in the world's center of this movement. It's happening all over the world, but we seem to be at the head of it here in Maine. And I really believe it's because from the very beginning, this project has focused on teachers, on educators, on learning as opposed to hardware and technology. And we're all figuring this out together. There are no magic answers, but I think there are two important points. A, this is important. It will make a difference. It is urgent that we get this right because the whole future belongs to those who are educated. The global competition that we're facing is absolutely unprecedented, and creativity and education are going to be the dividing lines. And we don't have time to spend 10 or 20 years figuring this out. We've got to do it now. And there is a sense of urgency to this. And the second point is, we can do it. You can do it, and it is a change, and change is always hard, but it's an important one, and it is one which thousands of teachers in Maine have already crossed and mastered, and we're moving forward, taking it to the next level. So thanks a lot for being with us, and enjoy being digital.